This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
I can barely hear it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Norman Meredith coming from Easley, South Carolina. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, you threw your hand up like there was a nest. Okay, I'm sorry, folks.
I was gonna say we're in Pickens, South Carolina.
We're in
today.
Pickens.
Yeah.
Welcome back to episode 51 of Beyond the Veil. We're in Pickens, South Carolina today.
We are in Pickens, South Carolina today.
Tonight,
Absolutely.
Ed's going to be on the show with me, the host of Pickens Local. You have to excuse me, folks. Pain meds do make you a little loopy. Okay, update for those that have been watching and following. Okay, brace is still on. This is what the doctor has said. I got to have an MRI because he's not sure what kind of damage I got in there. He thinks there might be something and he thinks maybe not, but he can't tell until he does the MRI. And then if he does the MRI, depending on what the damage is, worst case scenario is I get a screw put in there and then it's a cast for unknown weeks. Best case scenario is I keep the brace for unknown weeks and then get to go back to work. So that's where I stand on the medical side. All right, now talking about episode 51 tonight. Donald Trump released in the news just here in the last couple days that on January 21st, he will release information concerning events going on in the skies over New Jersey and the rest of the United States concerning these alleged drones. So he's not gonna play and not tell people not what's going on. He's going to come up forward and say, hey folks, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Also, sometime between now and the 19th, Dr. Stephen Greer, who has been a great provider of information related to black projects, UFOs, extraterrestrials, or non-human entities or intelligences, is supposed to be coming forward with about a half a dozen to a dozen black site operators to talk about, get this, black projects that concern us with extraterrestrials, extraterrestrial craft, free energy, black triangles, the fact that we do have the capabilities to, as Richard Lear said when he retired, take ET home. So he'll be he's coming to be releasing this information sometime between now and the 19th. Him and his team are supposedly coming forward. Now, if he doesn't come forward, I think this guy's just been blowing a lot of hot air to make such a big build up to this event. Because, since November 13th, our skies have been filled with alleged drones, orbs, and UFOs. You'll never hear me call it UAP because to me that's a weather phenomenon.
Is it?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. What does that make you think? To me, that's weather.
Sounds like a black hole.
Nah,
That's possible.
That would be a phenomenon. No, none.
Phenomenon?
Yeah. But it's UFOs are exactly what they are. They're flying objects.
Yeah.
And they're unidentified.
Yeah.
Okay?
Is it because of ignorance, or like even the top engineers and scientists have no idea what it is, or they can't, due to its quick velocities and random changes in position, like they're like, oh holy crap, we don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But they might.
It still falls under UFO.
That's true.
But the thing is, here's the thing, okay? There's an interesting trend I've noticed in watching a lot of these YouTube documentaries and following different things on X and that, is a comment that was made by a Air Force general.
What do you say?
We track all known terrestrial aircraft in our space. There are no unknown aircraft in our space. So what's he saying?
Don't know.
Those are our things up there?
He would have to say that.
Possibly.
This is like process of elimination, going in and saying, I don't know, it seems like a way to cover your butt kind of deal. So they don't have to explain it.
Yeah. But then I've also been hearing this phrase, Galactic Federation. Been thrown a little bit. That we're on the precipice of making obvious contact with the Galactic Federation. None of this stuff that's behind the veil, like with Eisenhower supposedly started, and it's supposedly gone back even further than Eisenhower. It's supposedly been back to Truman. Truman supposedly had contact with alleged extraterrestrial visitors or non-human intelligences, if you want to go with that, and sat down and talked with them.
What did he find out?
I don't know. Now with Eisenhower, we talked on the show how he supposedly met with 2 types of aliens out in California. And then the last show we did a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Valiant Thor, the supposed Venetian that lived at the Pentagon. That was during Eisenhower's time as well.
Seems to be a lot of stuff that's going on right after that time.
Yes. And then, during the time of Valiant Thor being at the Pentagon, there was the UFO going on. And there was a swarm of UFOs that went over the Capitol. That was photographed, filmed. Radar intercepts were picking up. And when planes went up to intercept, they disappeared. But when they come back, when the planes went to land, they came back. Up. Now that's not a phenomenon. That's controlled intent.
Intelligent.
Yes.
Okay.
Controlled, intelligent intent.
Or a coincidence.
Never.
Any further information on that stuff in New Jersey?
Nothing yet.
Nothing.
It's just supposedly people are starting to see less drones and more orbs and UFOs. There are still drones up there, but supposedly not as many.
Well, I was on the phone last night with somebody looking for some equipment, and I knew that they were in New Jersey, and I asked them, and they said, I've heard stories of it, and I hear people talking about it, but I haven't seen it myself. So I don't know if it's BlackRock, the Pentagon, or whoever, or is it something that's not of this world? I don't know. It seems too easy. I mean, because the state we're in right now, I think if the aliens knew, I don't think they'd show up here. They'd be like, that's a lost cause for now. Well, I think we'll come back later.
They might have been waiting, technically, like we talked about one time in one of the shows.
Yeah.
That Trump and Benjamin
Netanyahu
had met with aliens from off-world and talked during his reign.
I remember that one.
And so is it possible, and this is just a theory, that with all these sightings is the warm-up for when Trump hits office, that the bigger ships will be coming in from over the sea, preferably, and then open contact will be made? What do you think?
Don't know. I don't know. I just sometimes keep my head in the sand, and I don't know, because I guess some of it is 2 things. I don't want to look stupid. And the other part is I don't want to appear to be a crazy person. I
don't think it's
I do that. I do that in other ways.
But I think it's more accepted now.
Yeah.
Than it was, say, when your grandparents were alive.
Oh yeah. I would even say in the past 20 years.
Yeah. Or if not more so.
Yeah.
I mean, because think of all the acclimatation we had with movies, books, TV shows, cartoons, comic books, action figures,
sitcoms. Yeah.
Aliens.
Speaking of sitcoms, there's one of them right there.
Yes, Alf. He was a sitcom. We had Resident Alien? It was on Sci-Fi. You'll see him. He's the blue-looking one wearing the
Resident
jacket.
Alien on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
Blue one with the jacket. I'll find him here in a second.
Yeah, he's the blue one with the jacket. I mean, this was made as part of everyday life that aliens could live among us. And Resident Alien was a good example of an alien that came to Earth and he messed up his project, and he wound up killing a guy, taking his body over.
I can't find him. I don't know where he's at. We'll go through him, though.
Yeah, he's a blue-skinned guy, big black eyes, wearing a parka. Well, if you see it, you'll see it.
Somewhere in here. You gave me a bunch this week. So.
Yeah, I know I did. I got, what, 35?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if contact was occur, everybody thinks the typical thing is take me to our leader. But, I was thinking about that. If these aliens are really smart, yeah, they may come to our leaders to a degree, but they're going to come to the people. Because they've seen what our leadership has done in the past when they come to our leaders. They've shelved and hidden the technologies and anything else that they've received.
Yeah, kind of like the guy who made the car run on water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
the guy with wireless energy.
Yes.
Or
Tesla.
Those sort of things. Yeah. Tesla. That's right.
They mean if it affected the petrodollar, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, there you go. Petroleum-based anything, because most of them are from petroleum.
It ain't going to happen. Now, if it was going to happen, let's roll that first photo. Do you think it would look something like this?
First photo up. Would it look like 1957?
The day the world stood still.
Yeah.
Where the ships land and a humanoid-looking alien comes out from the craft and says, "We are here to offer galactic peace and welcome you to our neighborhood."
Beam me up, Scotty. Yeah, I need that.
There are a lot of encounters that people have with humanoid or human-looking aliens. Valiant Thor was a humanoid or human-looking alien, and he was supposedly from Venus, and that he lived in underground cities. Now, there have been some reports from the different documentaries I've been listening to and things I've been following at X, that some of our aliens that could be meeting us would blow our mind.
Right.
Like, roll this next one.
All right. What do we got? These right here?
Now, this is another idea of humans or humanoids meeting us. Okay? Looking just like us. They could be your neighbors. They're assimilating. Their mission is to learn stuff. I mean, they can be people just like us. Maybe they got a slight difference in blood, just a little bit. Their chromosomes may be a little bit better, but they're like us in a lot of ways. In some ways, we may be offshoots because of something happened, or vice versa. All right, fire up the next one, Ed.
All right, let's check this one out. We've got who? The Blob.
Now, think about this. There is the possibility that intelligence can be in a form that looks like a blob. It's called an amorphic mass. And just because it doesn't have machinery and all that does not make it not intelligent. That it's, once it partners up with an intelligent host or something, or makes contact with a sentient being,
right?
And uses a form of telepathic communications and all that, we find out how smart they are. That they actually can communicate and they can do things. They can relay information. They probably could. Their bodies alone are probably like the equivalent of gigabytes or terabytes of information that could be stored as a natural battery, or just shapeshift to do things, and that could be their body. That's the alien, but we just don't know how to communicate it because we don't open our mind. I mean, that could be one of the aliens that we could possibly see in a disclosure form, is a blob. Let's roll the next one. And some of these I pulled from movies. This one I pulled from Space 1999. This would be something out of a horror movie, okay? You see something like these coming down from a ship, and you think, oh my God, these are horrors. They're coming to rip my soul out and suck my bones dry. But you find out they eat vegetables and they're peace-loving.
Looks like something you'd see in Florida.
Yeah, but it's just
Swamp Man.
I mean, we judge on looks, and just because this first look you see it'd be a horror and terror, when actually they're the most peaceful thing in the world, and they probably do nothing but medicine and education. Let's roll up the next one.
All right. Check this one out.
This is another example of what a possible alien could be. And using like they sent a Cyclops type form that could look, that would be from our nightmares. And this is from the It from Space, 1950s movie to show the possible horrors coming in from space. But we could preview this as a horror when in actuality it's not. You know, for all we know, it's a galactic trader. This guy's got the ability to trade and manipulate things to buy, sell, you know? And that's his profession. He's not got a violent bone in his body. But we're judging by our prejudices that we have as humans. All right, let's roll on our next one.
All right. The brain.
Or the brain from this island, Earth. I mean, this thing could be, like I say, people would be looking at the first thing going, it's a creature to invade it. It's going to eat me. You know, this, do you understand what I'm coming across with some of this stuff, Ed?
Yeah.
All right, let's bring up another one here.
All right. This one I want to call Simon. I think it looks just like that Simon or the video or the, early 80s old hit thing. I don't know. I had one when I was a kid.
This is from the original War of the Worlds. And this was the creature that was seen in the original War of the Worlds. And somebody saw it like this. You know, this was portrayed as the villain in War of the Worlds when you've seen it. You know, and in that context, it was the villain, and it is the villain. But in our context, it may be the equivalent of a dock worker, you know, that they're just workers, you know.
Like a drone?
Yeah. Let's go on to another one.
All right, check that out.
All right, this one here is just could be a part of a two-life system. This is from Invaders from Mars, 1950s edition. And this thing lived in like a glass bowl. It has a few arms that circulate around. And look at the large cranium, okay? Mm-hmm. Or the large head. This thing is basically deals with mental energy. It can communicate telekinetically through ESP, can probably do things with telekinetics. And it's kind of weak, so it might rely on a host or a drone to move it around like in from the movies.
Okay. I got you.
And this would be something that we could possibly see being carried down from a ship by somebody or a robot or something, or be part of a robotic package. And we see this, and first things first, we may be repulsed by it because it doesn't look to our norms. We're looking for that Nordic-looking person that looks like us, but out there, us is not the majority. We're probably a very slim minority. Let's bring up another one.
Here you go.
All right.
It's your favorite.
Oh, yes. This is Anubis, or a version of Anubis. Now, everybody scratch their head. Well, who's Anubis?
Dogman?
Anubis is one of the Egyptian gods.
Okay.
Now, there have been some claims that the gods of Egypt may have been extraterrestrial in base. So, if we were to have some UFOs set down, there may be possibility of seeing God-like figures walk down from the ship, like Anubis or Hoth or Set, with humanoid bodies, but heads that look like the wolf here, or Doberman, or what do you want to call it, or with a hawk head, or snake head, a reptilian type head. Those might be the things that we would see if our culture was influenced by Egyptians at first. That might be a race that might show up on Day of Disclosure, and people will be going, oh my God, they exist. They're real. The gods of Egypt were real. Because many cultures describe their gods as being from above, especially the cultures of South and Central America. They talk about their gods being from outer space. What do you think about that one, Ned?
I don't know. I do not know. I mean, I've heard all sorts of things about, the pyramids, or like the energy forces, like giant battery type things.
I've heard
trying to figure that out.
Microwave,
I don't know.
Microwave array, giant battery.
This is just stuff I pick up on TikTok and Facebook. That's where I get my education.
Believe it or not, even a galactic signpost.
Huh. Interesting. But they do line up with like constellations and things that happen once every 1,000 years. And who knows? I don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know.
All right, let's roll the next one. Let's see what we
got. A gray.
All right, this here is one of the typical sightings that people see is the gray. If you ever watched the Alien Autopsy film a few years back, this film was based on one of the bodies recovered from Roswell. Mm-hmm. Now, the gray is a typical alien that's seen in abductions, in first encounters where they're walking around, people see them from a distance.
It's like that's always the one that's like inserting the probe, if you know what I mean. They always pin all the bad stuff on the grays.
I mean, third encounters had encounters of the third kind had three types of grays: tall, medium, and short. And it may not be, it may be, we'll see some grays if we ever have a disclosure. Because if they land, I don't think it's going to be one race. I hopefully will see a diversity of races if it is a federation. All right, let's see what else we got there, Ed. All right, you're going to laugh at me on this one. Now, I've heard some stories, but it's very limited on the amount of stories out there on this, about a mantis-like alien race called a mantid. And here's a general representation or artist rendition. And I think I have another one.
It's not. It's.
I did put
that
it there.
One?
Nope.
Don't know.
All right. Well, this is a mantid race. It's supposed to be one. Okay. So that's an idea of one, of what could be something that we might run into. All right. The next one is, if you ever seen the TV series called UFO in the 70s, these are humans that look just like us. And the only way they live is, unfortunately, is by borrowing body parts. But this is an idea of us meeting us out there. Just what another set of human or human-like folks could be. Let's move that good bean footage forward.
Let's see what we got here. How about that one?
All right. Now here, we've got a bunch of different types of humanoid-like aliens that there's possibility of being seen. And for some reason, Roddenberry had a great, vivid imagination. And some say he did have access to some classified material to create his series. He was influenced even, supposedly, by dreams and other things that caused him to create the aliens in his field, the planets in his field. I mean, these are just examples of what his imagination had, of what may be out there. Let's roll a few more. We're just going to roll a couple of these. Let folks see. That was a mistake. I shouldn't put that one in, but that's from the creature that traveled 20,000 miles from Venus. These are reptilian type aliens that supposedly we could possibly run into. This one I'm not sure, but that's a big bug-eyed alien that could possibly be something we see.
Cave dweller. It needs those. It needs the big eyes to see in the dark, right?
Yeah.
What about these?
More humanoid-like aliens from the Star Trek genre.
Is that Xena?
Which one?
The one on the left.
My left or your left?
The left.
The green one?
Yeah, your left. My left.
No. Do you know who I think that is?
I don't know who that is.
The woman that played Batgirl.
No idea. I have no idea.
Oh, I can't think of her name. She played Batgirl, but she played one of the slave women one time on Star Trek.
Got it.
All right, let's roll on something. These are some more ideas that come from the mind of Star Trek of possibilities of what we could see in the universe. There's been talk that there's 60 to 70 different races at this moment out there in the universe. Let's roll a few more, Ed.
All right, here's this one.
There's the alien from...
Oh, that's the jacket one. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
This is who we're talking about. Now, for him to get around in the public, he used a form of holographic technique to change his body. changed from an alien to look human.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think he ate a little bit of the doctor, ingested something to get some ideas on him and how he worked and all that. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it. All right, let's see what else we got, Ed. Let's throw a few more things out there. More possibilities. I mean, if you've watched sci-fi, unless you've lived in the boondocks without TV, you've been exposed to it in some way, shape, or form of what could possibly come to see us on Earth.
So you're saying it's Hollywood getting us prepared for the Hollywood is getting us prepared for the alien landing invasion or whatever.
First contact.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I truly believe.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. There's a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
A lot of craziness that I'm not going to talk about.
Very.
Yeah, go on anywhere and look, especially X. Facebook sometimes wants to censor what you're doing, but X is just Elon's like just.
I like X.
Yeah. What about that one?
That's another form of a possible alien race. It's a reptilian one. It's a graphic drawing of what could be a reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else you get.
This is Predator.
The Predator. It's just like say, just different things to open your mind up to what we could possibly run into from like Orion, fish-looking people. It looks like a zombie in the middle.
What about this?
These are from.
That thing in the center looks familiar.
Yeah, that's from the Invaders from Mars, and the things on the side are drones. What we were talking about that would carry the master in the center.
All right.
Something in the scenario we were talking about before. They'd have a drone or something that might carry the
host.
lesser.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like what was the name of it? It wasn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon series, but it was like a brain that was inside the belly of a robot, and it was like in a glass.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what it was.
Which word it was.
I don't know.
I remember something.
It's like that though.
I remember
carries it
like
around.
Yeah.
What about that?
Okay, these are supposed to be Palladians from the Palladian system.
Now, those are the ones that you're talking are like more Nordic looking than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Nordics had more human looking color. These are supposed to be Palladians from the Pleiades star system.
All right. Now, how about that? What is that?
This is from the movie Quartermass in the Pit. And this is an insect from Mars that was actually intelligent insect. So we could see, similar to the mantis that we were talking about, that we could see insect-like aliens that we could encounter. And they could look like our locust, our cockroach, or you name it.
Yeah.
They could look like any of those, but on 6-foot scale or bigger.
That's crunchy.
Tastes good with ketchup. Deep fried, right?
What about that? There's another gray.
That's another gray, just as an idea.
Is that a cow in the background?
That's a cow in the background. Grazing cows for some reason.
Interesting. All right. Here's the one that we...
That's Grom from Star Trek.
All right.
Lizard-like alien.
Speaking of Star Trek, here's another one.
Mm-hmm. Go back a minute.
You talking about Grom?
Yeah, it's interesting that Star Trek had a lizard alien race in their series, because this was before anybody started talking about reptilians.
Okay.
From being from outer space or being from inner space. So does that tell you Roddenberry knew something? By prepping us about reptilians.
Early 70s?
60s.
60s. All right. Check this out. What about that one?
Just showing us humanoid-like races that we could run into.
All right. So we got Spock and...
Farscape, with different head thing,
tentacles.
Appendages from their head or tentacles, the differences in their appearance that we might look different upon them,
Yeah.
This is the crew of the Farscape, and good guys and bad guys, A lot of them are humanoid looking. Another thing from Farscape, excuse me. The Farscape Navigator, it was, I think, a crustacean-like. It had multiple arms and could control many portions of the ship.
We've got one left. Okay. This one right here.
All right. We've talked in the past about...
That looks like underwater, like Submariner. It is. Okay. All right.
We've talked about possibility of underwater cities here on previous shows. About, UFOs possibly having underwater bases. And talked about the possibility of some of the UFO occupants being aquatic in nature. It could be possible that we could run into the equivalent of merpeople that are from aquatic planets that visit us.
Okay.
And that we may run into situations like this, even.
And we got one last one. Again.
Alf.
Yeah, Alf. Yeah, that kind of turned it on for the 1980s right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's just to let you know that aliens could possibly live with us and friendly, and just got to watch your cat.
Yep. He was from Melmac.
Yeah, Melmac.
Yeah. What was his last name?
Gordon Shumley was his full name.
There you go. All right. So what else you got for us, Norm?
That's it. But I thought this is just open up your minds to what could be coming in the weeks to come here, especially around the 20th. The 21st is when I think Donald Trump's supposed to tell us what everything's going on over our skies.
That'd definitely be interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it could be the possibility within that time we should know what Dr. Greer's got for us. And if some of these clairvoyants that they're talking about, we may see these giant spaceships coming in. Even the ones Jackie even mentioned once or twice on our show. So we'll see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Next week I'll have a different subject unless Trump comes out and tells us what it is. Then we're going to talk about his revelations. Otherwise, I'm going to find a nice cryptid topic to talk about next Tuesday, unless Trump comes out early, and then we'll talk about what he brings up.
All right.
Or I might talk about both. We'll see.
Good deal.
Ed, I thank you for joining me tonight.
Absolutely. We will see you again for sure, 100%.
Signing off from Pickens, South Carolina. This is Norman and Ed from Pickens Local. We greatly appreciate you with us being tonight. And I ask you tonight, please have the people in North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia in our prayers. Please send donations and send help to them. The people in California, yes, they're hurting too, but not as, in my opinion, not as bad as the ones up at north on our side of the coast. Please keep them in prayers as well as the folks in California. Okay, and this is Norman signing off from Beyond the Veil.